Yeah.
Tank is one of the most interesting fighters to watch because he's so different. His style is so different. You know, he's so economical. Like, he puts pressure on guys without throwing too many punches, and then starts to figure holes out. And the way he can explode and move in with one shot, my God.
Yeah, he very explosive. He's very explosive, and you know, man, he be cracking them dudes.
People.
Hey, he be putting them to sleep.
Just cracking people.
Don't stop it on me, though. I'm not. How would you get this one, man?
Ain't no jumping out.
When Joe Rogan saw Gervonta tank Davis's newly bulked up physique ahead of the Jake Paul fight, you could almost hear that classic Rogan reaction immediately kick in, half impressed, half entering full scientific breakdown mode.
I'm a giant Gervonta fan. I think that guy is so unusual.
Yeah.
His style's so unusual, and it's like patience.
Yes.
Yeah. He finds these openings and he sees them, but he doesn't go after them right away. He waits for the right time. He's so patient.
Right.
Like, when you watch the early rounds of his fights, he's like at a world champions that are competing today at the highest level. He probably has the lowest punch count in the early rounds.
Yeah.
Because he just wait, but he also knows he's got that nuclear option that if he can crack you, most likely he's going to take you out. He's got massive confidence.
On his podcast, Joe did not waste any time sugarcoating it. He looked at Tank's latest training footage and basically said, dude looks like he was built inside some kind of powerlifting lab. And honestly, he is not wrong. Tank's shoulders are exploding. His trap's sitting high like a bull preparing to charge. And that frame looks way thicker than what we saw before the Ryan Garcia fight. Rogan immediately started breaking it down the way only he can, talking about how the added mass could completely change Tank's explosiveness, and how his punch speed along with his hip torque might actually increase instead of slowing him down.
Interesting, right? Like, you don't know whether someone's ever going to be able to figure that out or whether or not he's just going to keep cracking people.
Yeah.
You know, so it's part of the fun of watching it. I've talked to a lot of, like, real boxing purists. It's like, you can't rely on that style.
Right.
He's got to be busier. When he gets to the best guys, it's not going to work out. Like, well, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see, because there's so many good guys.
But the real excitement came when Joe compared Tank to a smaller version of Mike Tyson backed by modern training science, saying he is built to explode, not just outbox people. He even took a playful shot at Jake Paul, saying, if Jake thinks his version of Tank is showing up for a points victory, he's completely out of his mind. That dude is coming to finish things early. You could clearly tell Rogan respects the work behind it all. He loves watching a fighter evolve, and this version of Gervonta Davis looks like evolution turned all the way up. Not literally, but in the sense of a fighter reinventing himself to make a statement. Joe summed it up perfectly. This is not Tank Davis version 2. This is Tank Davis fully unleashed.
You know, he got the skills, the power, he got that ring IQ to do good, but we haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, he's also wild. He's a wild fella, so he's fun to watch. You know, he's just a crazy dude. You know?
Yeah, coming from Baltimore, man, I think that's just his upbringing as well. You know, product of his own environment.
Yes, for sure. He's just so unique in his approach. Like, you know, he doesn't fight like anybody else.
Things really started getting interesting once Wade Plemon dropped his breakdown after Joe Rogan finished obsessing over Tank's new physique and practically comparing him to a steroid-era mini Mike Tyson. At that point, it became obvious this was not just fighters showing off for social media clips. These guys are putting together a complete game plan. Calvin Ford is over there in the corner, looking like some boxing scientist with a clipboard, breaking down every strange Jake Paul habit, every little, that could hurt me reaction. This goes way beyond casual sparring sessions. Tank is sharpening every weapon he has, setting up angles, and mentally placing himself into a mode where dominance is the only acceptable result.
The least serious you take Jake, and I've said this about everybody that's fought him, the ones that don't take him serious, the ones that say he's a YouTuber and everything else, they end up losing, or they end up looking like, oh, wait a second, this guy was a little better than I thought. They end up either getting taken by surprise or actually sometimes losing because they don't realize that Jake actually takes it serious. So this is good to hear. Just already right off the rip, they were already doing something.
Surprise. So tell me, when did you hear about this?
They've been going back and forth for years, Tank and Jake. They've been going at it for years, and It would have happened sooner, you know what I'm saying? But we had hiccups in life.
And listen, when I say Tank is attacking the body nonstop, I'm not just talking about draining cardio. I'm talking about slowly carving Jake down like a Thanksgiving turkey, making sure every step forward starts feeling like he's moving through wet cement. Now this is where things get brutal. You watch the footage and quickly realize Tank is not only bigger, stronger, and faster. He's thinking smarter too. Calvin Ford's coaching is not built around letting Tank swing reckless bombs. This whole thing is a chess match. A straight-up, how do I make a 60-pound monster suffer for every inch of reach he thinks belongs to him type of scenario.
See a guy that's targeting the body, and it's the best thing that Tank could do for this fight. I mean, trying to go headshot for headshot with Jake Paul when he's probably Jake's 7 inches taller than he is. I'm assuming he's going to have a bit of a reach, even though Tank has a kind of freakish reach for his height. I don't think that's a great idea. And again, you're at eye level with Jake's belly button damn near. So you're going to have to be able to land shots right there on the waistline. And it's probably the best idea if you actually want to knock Jake out in this fight, if you actually want a game plan, because again, it's an exhibition, but if you want a game plan to get him out of there, you have to attack.
I can already picture it. Tank firing off volume punches to body, Jake's hands slowly dropping, and suddenly we're talking about late round fatigue with opportunities starting to open up. You and I both know if Tank lands clean shots like that, it will not just slow Jake down, it'll completely change the direction of the fight. And honestly, the funniest part is everybody keeps calling this some exhibition circus, but these training clips make it look like Tank is preparing for a world title defense. Because when Calvin Ford is standing in your corner, fear becomes just another weapon to sharpen. So buckle up, because this is not Tank showing off for Netflix. This is Tank planning a takeover. And you better believe he's ready to expose every weakness in Jake's armor.
Ridiculously hard for Tank to actually knock Jake out. I'm just, that's like 70-pound difference, 60-pound difference. That means something. And Jake's not some guy that's never thrown punches. He's a relative novice when it comes to, skill level that Tank has, but still, he knows how to protect himself. And again, his body structure allows for some mistakes to happen that he wouldn't have to pay for like he would if he was 135 pounds. Point being, I would be impressed, very, if Tank knocked him out cold or dropped him with something, hurt him.
Interview 7. And right when we thought Calvin Ford's honesty was already crazy enough, Lamont Roach Sr. stepped in throwing pure boardroom pressure at Gervonta Davis's business decisions. The man was not throwing punches. He was throwing contracts. He basically accused Tank of skipping the rematch and sprinting toward Netflix like, forget honor, I'm chasing algorithms. And honestly, I cannot even fully deny it. This Jake Paul fight seriously feels like boxing suddenly took a hard turn into a YouTube thumbnail. Like, try explaining this to an old school boxing fan. Yeah, bro, Tank Davis is fighting the same guy who used to pull pranks on people inside Target.
It's not good. It's not good for the sport. A lot of people say, oh, money this and money that, but you got to do business the right way. You know what I'm saying? You got guys on that other side, especially fighters, that take time out of their life, train, get their coaches and their sparring partners. They go different places, travel. They invest a lot of times in their career, and it's a lot. So, when they get back, they get news like that, it does not receive well. So, But we solid. We're going to stand 10 toes down, man, and we're going to see what's next for us.
But this is where things started getting hilarious. Roach said it plainly. You cannot just walk away from business and disappear because there's more money somewhere else. And I'm sitting there thinking, bro, somebody should probably tell that to half of Hollywood and every influencer holding a boxing license. Still, he does have a point. If Tank really passed on that rematch just to fight Jake Paul, that's basically like skipping the NBA Finals to play in some celebrity 3-on-3 game. Sure, you'll collect the bag, but your legacy is definitely looking at you sideways. Now, don't get me wrong. Jake Paul absolutely can punch, but Tank is built like a pocket-sized nuke wearing gloves. This is not content creation anymore. This is career destruction. And if Jake steps in believing this is just another influencer exhibition, he's going to learn very quickly that Tank doesn't do collaborations. He delivers consequences.
Tank is just so much more better than Jake Paul. And some people feel, well, Jake Paul is this big heavyweight that punches hard, and Tank's going to find out, do you feel like this is going to be an actual real fight just underneath the term exhibition? And do you see the fight playing out when someone gets hurt?
I don't even want to talk on that fight, me honest. I can care less about what it is. It's an exhibition, man. You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing. He ducked that work.
Yeah.
He ducked that work.
And right after Lamont Roach Sr. unloaded on Tank over skipping basic business ethics, Lamont Roach Jr. stepped in and completely lit the situation up like somebody done pretending to stay respectful. He flat out said what everybody had already been whispering behind the scenes. Tank did not just avoid the rematch. He drove straight into the Jake Paul circus like it was Coachella weekend. And honestly, the funniest part is Roach called it exactly what it looked like, for entertainment. Like, bro, imagine dedicating your entire life to winning a world title only to watch the guy who beat you jump into an influencer fight where people are debating glove size more than actual boxing. You could hear the frustration in Roach's voice. This man wanted real smoke inside the ring, not Tank chasing Netflix clicks and social media numbers.
Gonna get that rematch fight versus Gervonta after this fight?
Who knows? He said he's retiring. I believe him. Honestly, I think he's scared. So if he's going to retire, I believe he's going to retire.
You think you'll retire after the exhibition match?
I think so.
Why do you say that?
Because we get scared.
And listen, I understand why. Jake Paul fights got money floating around them like a Vegas jackpot machine. But legacy is not built on TikTok. If Tank really walks away after Jake, that's like a superhero quitting halfway through the story because the merchandise already sold. Jake Paul may be 200 pounds of content creation, but Tank is basically a walking missile with gloves on. This fight is either ending as the shortest main event ever or become the greatest marketing hustle since Logan boxed the weather app. Honestly, the whole thing feels like boxing transformed from HBO drama into a YouTube reality series overnight. But we all know people are still tuning in because once Tank Davis steps inside the ring with Jake Paul, something viral, violent, and ridiculously expensive is guaranteed to happen.
The Jake Paul and Gervonta fight, the weight, the ounces on the gloves, 12 ounce, and then, Calvin was asking to get the 10s. What do you think about that? And people who don't understand that.
I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about their fight per se. I really don't care. I don't care about their fight.
Man, here's the truly crazy part. This whole fight honestly feels like a social experiment pretending to be a main event. On one side, you got Jake Paul, the internet's favorite chaos generator, stepping into the ring with Gervonta Davis, a fighter basically forged inside Baltimore's boxing trenches. It's influencer culture clashing against real fighter mentality, the algorithm against the actual art form. And what's insane is both sides genuinely need each other right now. Jake wants credibility. Tank wants a legacy that reaches beyond the normal boxing world. It's basically two separate universes crashing together just to find out which one breaks first. But here's my real hot take. If Tank catches Jake clean, that's not simply a knockout. That's a full cultural reset. That's the exact moment boxing takes the internet back from influencers. But if Jake somehow survives and drags Tank into those later rounds, oh buddy, then we might be witnessing the rise of the most hated success story combat sports has ever seen. Either way, this is bigger than just a fight. It's a battle over who controls the spotlight next.
Jake Paul is good enough where people say, oh, he's terrible. Jake Paul is not a world-class fighter. I don't care how a person feel about that. Fighters that started in their formative years, like we did, 8, 9, 10, we got too much time in. Jake will never catch up to that. He'll never catch up to that. We just got too much time in.
And there it is. One guy is chasing greatness. The other is chasing validation. But both are risking everything that defines who they really are. Once those gloves finally touch, it will not just feel like a fight. It'll feel like the moment boxing discovers whether authenticity can still defeat the algorithm. Because either Tank is about to remind the internet what real power actually looks like, or Jake is about to pull off the biggest plot twist since McGregor versus Mayweather. But what do you think? Is Tank about to drop Jake quicker than hotel lobby Wi-Fi? Or is Jake truly built to survive Baltimore smoke? Drop your opinions below. Debate it, roast it, defend it. I want to hear every bit of it. And yo, never forget to like, share, and subscribe to Knockout Revolution, the home of real talk, crazy takes, and absolutely zero filters. Catch you in the next one.